going to introduce herself right now. Let's take a look.
Hi, my name is Dr. Latarra Demps. I am the founder and owner of the Holistic Life. Hi, my name is Dr. Latarra Demps. I am the founder and owner of the Holistic Life.
Okay, wow. So when did you get started with Holistic Life?
Well, prior to the Holistic Life, I was a surgeon for almost 20 years in Atlanta. And then I relocated back to Jacksonville because of some family health issues. And that's what prompted me to look into doing something in the medical field, but in a natural part. So I founded the Holistic Life in 2023.
Oh, that is awesome. So you founded it last year.
Yes.
And what is Holistic Life?
The Holistic Life is spelled Holystic. It is a holistic program, but it adds a spiritual component to it. So it's a health and wellness program, mental well-being, as well as spiritual development. So it's body, soul, and mind.
Okay, that is awesome. So how would they go about learning about how to do their body and soul and clean?
Okay, most people that come to see me are coming because they want to lose weight. But people don't understand that weight loss is contingent upon all three of those components being in alignment. If your mind is not made up, if you don't have a desire and a will, then no matter how much you try to make the changes, you won't stick with it. So let's say your mind is ready and now you're ready to get your body in tuned as well. But if you have a spiritual component to it where you add the components of prayer, meditation, having a positive outset, those things tend to increase the actual productivity as well as the success rate in people who are trying to lose weight and maintain it for the rest of their life.
So how is it now going from medical to natural herbal? How is that? If someone is going from the doctors and the doctors giving them this medicine to help them lose weight to them transforming, how would they go about doing that?
Well, the transition in the medical field, I was a surgeon for almost 20 years. And what I saw was that there were so many people who were just being ravaged by chronic medical conditions. And a lot of times, people thought that, hey, I can still do whatever I want to do, eat how I want to eat, and I'll just take a pill, I'll just take my insulin, I'll dial it up. But it was once my family members were suffering from the sequelae, the long-term effects of diabetes and high blood pressure, two of which are on dialysis. And I realized that our food is killing us. And I can't say it enough. Our food is killing us. It's killing us either through the genetic modifications that have occurred. It's killing us in the quantities that people are eating. It's killing us by the choices that people use to eat. And because I retired to become a caregiver, I really wanted to do something that was going to change the course of other people's lives. If we could go back in time, like Cher says, if I can turn back time, I wish I could have convinced my family to do what I'm trying to teach everyone else to do, which is eat better, think well, and live longer. So even though I believe in Western medicine, I believe in surgical intervention, I believe in taking your medications, I know for a fact that people who follow the recommendations that I can provide for them have been able to come off their medications, or at least come down. If you're on 6 or 7, you may not get off all 6 or 7, but you may be down to 2. And not only that, but you can stop the progression of these diseases. If you know that you have pre-diabetes, treat it now. Don't let yourself get to the point of requiring insulin. So my whole goal is to teach people that food is medicine. Nature is God's greatest prescription.
Wow, that is amazing. And like you said, nature is God's natural prescription. When people go through your program, what can they expect?
Well, I have basically 3 tiers in my program. The first tier is just for people who may only have a few pounds, where they just want to get started. And it's actually called a jump start. It's actually called the Garden of Eden Detox. Because I said there is a spiritual component, this came to me basically in a vision. The Lord was telling me, you know, this is how you should eat. I've incorporated this lifestyle for myself. Basically, this program is a 7-day detox. It will guarantee you a 7 to 10 pound weight loss, but it's not a lifestyle. It's a detox. It's a jump start. It's to kind of get you going. And with this program, you do 2 fresh pressed juices a day. So a juicer is required, or a blender if you choose, and 1 fresh salad. And what you'll see is there are varieties of different options that I provide for you. If you follow the plan as I prescribed, the calorie count has already been calculated. I also give you recommendations to make water interesting. Something like strawberry lemon water, mint and lemon, strawberry and mint water. All of these things are to encourage people to enjoy the foods that they eat. Nothing that I recommend to people will be something that they don't want to do. This level of the program is just kind of an introduction, so it's like a 30-minute consultation, and you get this ebook sent to you electronically with the meals and the menu plans available, and then you can follow it. But after that, the second tier of the program is the one that really makes a difference, and that's our lifestyle modification. And in the lifestyle modifications, it's like you get a 4-week program. Every week you get a 30-minute one-on-one session in which we discuss your progress, any plateaus, anything that needs to be modified. And the initial consultation is an hour, because what we're going to do is we're going to assess what is your natural palate. The main reason people can't stick to a lifestyle change is because they're trying to force themselves into a lifestyle that's not something that they actually enjoy. So what I do is I discuss, what do you normally eat? And based off of what you normally eat, try to find the lifestyle that's most conducive. I can help people with anything from a vegan lifestyle, vegetarian, pescatarian, if they want to do a ketogenic lifestyle, which is like a low carb, if they want to eat all 4 food groups but learn how to look at nutritional labels, to count calories, to keep up with the different macro and micronutrients that they're taking in, as well as intermittent fasting. So when I say a lifestyle, it means this is how you're going to eat for the rest of your life. But if you choose something that is the way that is natural for you, you'll stick to it. So for me, my natural progression is more towards like a pescatarian. And once again, because there is a spiritual component to this, this is what the Lord told me. He was like, eat like Jesus ate. So I had to say, well, what did Jesus eat? And it was mostly a Mediterranean lifestyle. So I do have that option. But everybody is not going to be pescatarian or vegan. So I do have options for people who want to eat all 4 food groups. But this is the thing. Weight loss and a healthy lifestyle requires one of 2 things. Either you restrict what you eat, which is what a vegan or a pescatarian or a keto, low carb person does, or you restrict the amounts of what you eat. Now, the first group can eat all they want of their food groups. They can eat, it's unlimited. You don't have to count calories. You don't have to worry about any of that. But if you want to eat all 4 food groups, which is fine, you have to restrict the amount that you eat, which is keep up with your calorie counts, keep up with your output from exercise. So that's why I give you the 4 weeks of one-on-one consultation. And you will continue to make changes and progressions as necessary. If I see that you're reaching a plateau, we'll reassess what's going on and make the necessary modifications. The third tier of my program is what is called the Platinum Plan, and that addresses all aspects. So that's what we call the body, soul, and spirit. So in that plan, we look at why do you eat the way you eat? Are there triggers? Are there stresses in your life that you may not be aware of? How do you address those stresses? Looking at what things can you do to modify certain parameters. Like some people don't realize they eat because they're bored. Some people eat because they're stressed. Some people eat because they're lonely. So what I do is try to help you to get to the core of what's causing the food addiction or the bad habits. And that is a 6-week long program. And once again, you get 6 one-on-one sessions. And we dive a little bit deeper into not just your eating habits, but the psychology behind it and what spiritual tools can be used to overcome those issues.
That is awesome. So they get all the components that are necessary.
Yes.
In life in general. It's
Yes.
a lifestyle change that they're going to have to take.
Yes.
Wow. So I see that you have oils. What are the oils used for?
Well, that is another spiritual component. I was meditating and I've received this message from the Lord, and it was talking about the types of oils that he says are natural cures and natural preventative medicines for people. And one is a skincare regimen, which is this one. The ingredients are like a proprietary blend, but those are oils that he gave me. Some of the ingredients would be frankincense, cassia oil, and myrrh is another one that's in this. But there are actually 5 components to this oil. And I use it. I'm 52. I'll be 53 in a few months. And you know, I believe that this is one way to maintain your youth. The other oils that we have are oils that I was given ingredients to spiritually as well. For pain, I was given a concoction for people with anxiety, and one for people who have insomnia and need help with sleeping. So I have oils for the skin as well as oil for your mental well-being. And all of these oils can be taken a drop orally, just under your tongue. You can take a drop like that, or you can apply them to your skin and they're absorbed. They're all natural, everything is organic, and everything are products that I use myself personally as well.
So, now that we have found out about the basis of what your business is, you stated that you was inspired by the Lord and the Lord gave you a vision.
Mm-hmm.
So how did that go about?
So this happened in September of 2023. I actually have it written in my journal. I was just going through a spiritual transformation, spiritual elevation. The Lord began to just reveal himself to me as I began to seek him. To really understand, I have to go back, back to when I was 18. We were in a church meeting, and it's called like a shut-in. So that's like an all-night, 24-hour prayer session. And I was just praying, Lord, Lord, I was in college. I want to go to school to be a doctor. Please help me to be a doctor. And while I was praying, the Lord spoke to me, and he said that He was like, I want you to speak my word all around the world. And at that time, 1990, that meant you were a missionary. You're going to, what I thought be poor, be broke, traveling to Africa, all these third world countries. And I was like, but I want to be a doctor. And so I was praying, and then a little boy who was 11 years old at the time came up to me, and he was praying in the spirit. And then he began to say, I will allow you to do what you desire to do, but at the appointed time, you have to do what I called you to do. And all I heard was, oh, I'm going to allow you to do what you want to do. So I was like, yay, I get to be a doctor. And from that point forward, everything flowed. I barely applied to medical school and got in. It was just one miracle after a miracle after a miracle. Not only medical school, so 8 years of schooling, and then 5 years of surgical training. So a total of 13 years of surgical practice, of training to become a surgeon. Then I moved to Atlanta, practiced at Emory for almost 17 years throughout the metro Atlanta area. But as things went along, I began to feel like, a little bit like, I don't know. I just started feeling restrained. So eventually I took like a part-time job, flying back and forth from Kansas City. And then I ended up closing my practice, and I was just doing this part-time job. It's called a hospitalist as a surgeon. So I worked for them 1 week on, 1 week off. Was getting paid almost $15,000 a week, and most of the times I wasn't even doing anything. But it still got to the point where I just felt like I couldn't do it, and I didn't know why. And then when my family started having their health issues, I really just felt like, I need to just stop. And we're going to go home. We're going to get our health together. We're going to get things worked out. And I left everything. I left my high-paying job that was just part-time, that let me just kind of be there for a week at a time. I left my house in Atlanta. I left everything. And I moved back to Jacksonville to help take care of my family. But to everybody else, all of my decisions looked crazy. They looked foolish. And even to me, I didn't understand what happened. And then one day the Lord said, it's the appointed time. And would you believe the church that I attend today is the church of that 11-year-old boy that spoke that prophetic word over my life? It's the same, and he's my pastor. But the appointed time came for me to do this. But even though I know God has a mission, and I got ordained as a reverend, I still needed to make a living. And I said, okay, God, I don't want to charge for spiritual things, like this true spiritual development that you use me for. And so then he gave me this idea. He was like, you're very passionate about health and wellness and helping people because of all the chronic illness. When I tell you there are so many people suffering, I get calls on a daily basis of my mom is in the hospital, my brother's in the hospital, this is happening. And I was constantly helping people with this. So it came to me as a vision, and literally every step, even the name, and he said to spell it Holystic. And he gave me the blueprint for what I was doing. But even though I had the blueprint, it still took some time. I had to develop what he gave me, because God can give you a vision, but it's our job to work the vision. So that's how I created the ebooks. I came up with the plan. And even with the 7-day detox, he was like, call it Garden of Eden. This is how I want you to do it. These are types of foods I want you to tell people to have. And that's how it came about. And I can tell you just testimonials of people. This is the beauty about what happens when you do things from a spiritual standpoint. Now, I can help anybody, whether you're, spiritual, Christian, non-Christian, atheist. I can help you because food is food, and that's the medical side of it. But the spiritual component about God is all he needs for you to do is to do one thing. Because 0 times a million, 0 times a trillion, times anything is 0. But 1 times anything is at least that thing. So what he told me is that if for everybody that comes to you, I'm going to tell you the one thing that they need to change. Just one thing. And I will do the rest. I can tell you I had a person who was on blood pressure medications, and the Lord told me to tell this person, I want you to limit your salt. And of course, I use my medical knowledge to know how much salt they should have. But even though they had to limit their salt, I said, what is your favorite salty food? And they were like, salt and vinegar chips. I said, okay, here's what we're going to do. You're going to have salt and vinegar chips every day, but we're going to take that salt out of some other place. So that's the difference of how having medical and spiritual. He told me the one thing. I said, drink water, and we're going to you don't have to change anything else about your diet. And the person was able to come off of their blood pressure medications. I had another client of mine, he said, tell her to drink water and to increase it, from 8 to 10 to 12. And then for 4 weeks, she lost weight just doing that. And when she reached and I said, don't worry about changing anything in your diet. I just want you to drink this water. And once she reached a plateau, that's when we started implementing some dietary changes. So the beauty about having the spiritual component is, one, you get to see into the person and you can see what they actually need, even if they don't see it. And then you know that God will multiply. They're planting the seed by coming to get the help. They're planting the seed by acknowledging, I have a problem, I need help, I want to change. So that's the initial seed. And then getting the program is the second seed. And then God gives the increase. And he uses me with my medical background to help people succeed in these areas, which is to have weight loss and or to help with their chronic medical conditions.
That is amazing. How could you encourage someone that God gave a vision to and they have not stepped forth, or they are scared because it doesn't look like, because when he gives us visions, it looks like, when he was delivering them from Egypt, it got harder, and they're like, oh, it's hard, so I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing because I know God gave me this, but I don't think I want to stop this. So what can you do? Because you said you stopped everything to do what you know that God has called you to do. What could you give as encouragement to someone who is on the fence of doing that?
Well, I like to tell people, and I always tell the people that I mentor, that God will never force you to do anything, but he will coerce you. So coercion is where he funnels things all the way down until you have no choice but to say, I yield, I submit. So for me, the coercion, it was in layers, and that's the goodness of God. First, he removed the materialism from my life, so I didn't need to make that kind of money. Then he gave me the idea, become debt free, so I was able to leave and not have the stress of that situation. And then the coercion was my family's sicknesses. That's what was the tipping point for me. So I tell people, you can come willingly, and cut time down, or you're gonna come one way or the other. But I can tell you without any hesitancy that nothing in my life then compares to what I have now. I don't have the money I had before. I don't have the lifestyle I had before, but I have joy. I have an intimate relationship with the Lord Jesus. I have peace. And not only that, God has sustained my family. My sacrifice has been the thing that has kept them. We have seen person after person after person die around us who had less issues than my mom and my sister had. Some people were actually young and otherwise healthy, but they're still here. So nothing can beat the plan of God. So even if you feel like, I don't know how the vision is going to work, you have to stand on what he says. I know that God told me that he was going to build something with his hands that my hands will not touch, so I don't take the glory from him. See, my whole life I didn't know, I thought I got to be a doctor because I was smart. I thought I had favor with people because they just liked me. I didn't realize all along that was God working things out for me. But he said, in this season and for this situation, Tara, nothing your hands will do is going to make this prosper. It's because of what I'm doing. And it doesn't mean you just sit there and wait for him to do something. It doesn't fall out the sky. It means that when he gives you the instruction, you obey the instructions. And then watch what he will do to multiply your efforts.
That is awesome because, I mean, even with Joseph, he gave that to him early on as a child. And, you know, you would think, oh, you know, everybody's going to bow down. God gave this to him. But all the, you know, he went to, you know, all this stuff, his brothers got jealous of him. All this stuff happens when you are obedient to God. People become jealous because of the favor of God. Like you said, you didn't know that it was favor that was over your life, but the favor over your life caused, you know, people to, you know, sow into you and all of that stuff. So that's why I wanted you to encourage someone, you know, that may be on the fence because it doesn't look like what it's going to be like.
And I would say this one last thing about that is that you can God will never allow you to outdo him. Okay, so whatever you think you had and whatever you think you have on your own, following God, you're not going to go down, because he's the God of increase. He's the God of more than enough. So whatever you have, you know that you will only go up. Now, will there be a stripping process? Most likely. For me, it was a stripping, but that's because God said to me that I did not create. So he stripped the things that I thought I built with my own hands so that he can rebuild me from the ground up on his foundation, which is the cornerstone of Jesus Christ. So I know that what he's going to do is so much greater than what I was ever able to do on my own.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me.
How can they get in contact or purchase one of your books?
Okay, they can go to my website, which is The Holystic Life, spelled HOLYSTIC, theholisticlife.com. I'm on Instagram, The Holistic Life with Dr. D, Facebook, The Holistic Life with Dr. D, or they can call 904-528-6020. And on the website, you're able to schedule your free consultation, which is a 15-minute consultation. And if you want to just buy the ebooks and you don't want to have the one-on-ones, the ebooks are available for purchase. They're only $10.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Tia Glaive, and I'm honored to have been featured as a cover story for Destin Magazine. Being a cover story on Destin Magazine helped showcase the work I was doing to highlight Black and Brown small businesses and the founders behind them. It was fantastic to spread the awareness and gain new businesses. And thank you to Shanidra and Destin Magazine for featuring me. Hi, my name is Tia Glaive, and I'm honored to have been featured as a cover story for Destin Magazine. Being a cover story on Destin Magazine helped showcase the work I was doing to highlight Black and Brown small businesses and the founders behind them. It was fantastic to spread the awareness and gain new businesses. And thank you to Shanidra and Destin Magazine for